Was for entertainment purposes only, and if you want true legal advice, contact your own lawyer.
One of the persons in his office told me that Fred has a smell office policy on smells.
You do, really?
No, on one smell.
Is it in the handbook?
No, it's not, but it is I go around to the offices, and we have multiple offices throughout this state. I have partners in other states. That's another issue. But guess what? I do not allow, and everybody disobeys me, of course, because I have no say,
Right.
even though I'm the boss.
Even though you're the boss and the owner.
And Cal, guess what smell is not 855 Law Radio, or tweet us at Radio Law Talk. What is the smell that Fred Penney does not allow in his offices? If we have any of our staff, they're gonna tweet it right away. But I know for sure.
I'm guessing chili beans.
Chili beans is a good guess.
No, not it though.
No, not chili beans, but there is.
And I'll tell you something else. It's not flatulence.
That's allowed.
That's okay?
That's allowed.
Well,
absolutely.
Fred has to bully his employees somehow.
What? I don't do that.
Marking your territory?
No.
Yeah.
Think about it, Cal. I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
It is a food substance.
Oh.
It is a food substance that is not allowed to smell up the whole office. Because don't forget, I believe when someone walks in the office, and we have beautiful offices and nice
They are. They're lovely. Yes.
It's lovely. It's a nice experience. In a bad situation, a lot of times, they're hurt, they're injured, they're not feeling good. There's some smells that are just overpowering and irritating.
So no garlic.
Close.
Oh, dang it.
What's the next one? Okay, what's on a hamburger?
Sauerkraut?
Onions.
Onions. No onions allowed in the Penney and Associate Injury Lawyers firm. No, I can't stand it. I walk in the office. What the heck was that smell? And I'll spray stuff, and they know that is a pet peeve of mine.
And, of course, if they're eating onions, then they meet with a client. It's a doubly pleasant experience.
Well, I have a question then.
Yes.
Does that also apply to our studio here?
Yes, it does. By the way, ready for this?
I think I broke the
Next
law.
week, that's what we're doing.
Are you ready for this? Yeah, they're going to do it. Ready for this? Grilled onions do not smell.
Not the same way. Yeah.
Hardly at all. You can hardly smell grilled onions. So you do the difference between a grilled onion and an onion? Big difference in the smell. I have not had any feet issues yet in our firm.
Unlike the case or no case from last hour.
Right, that's exactly right. But tell us what happened here in this case. Denise, do you know the facts of this case, or should I go over? I
think you have to go over them.
Okay, let me tell you the facts of this case. All right, so this is out of Australia, and what happens is there's an individual, it's a man, that somehow does not get along with another individual man. And apparently this man that is complaining that actually brought a bullying lawsuit against this individual that is using his flatulence improperly. He has a small office with no windows, and the individual would walk by and when the doors open, come inside and pass gas in his office.
That's rude.
No, but it would be 4 to 5 times. Or he would walk up next to him and lift a leg and hit him with one. Now, here's the interesting thing.
What are they, in third grade?
Listen to this. Here's the interesting thing. The plaintiff in this case, who was receiving the flatulence, thought of something smart. He guarded himself, and he carried a weapon. What was the weapon he brought? Febreze. He brought some Febreze or Wizard
air
or something,
freshener of some
air
sort.
freshener.
Yeah.
And when he'd come by and do that, he'd squirt him in his back end as he was doing that. So they got in this tit-tat back and forth where they were one was passing gas and the other one was shooting the Febreze at him. And this is a communal office. It's a small area, and we're going to get back and talk about what happened with the lawsuit when we come back.
And now back to your host, Frederick Penney.
Just to thank all of you out there, just couldn't wait. You had to wait 2.5 hours to talk about flatulence. So we continue on our flatulence lawsuit. So where we left off is this individual in Australia brings a lawsuit about his boss. Apparently it's his supervisor. And he farts on him and he shoots and the other guy shoots back by shooting Febreze, Wizard, or something deodorant on him to do it. And by the way, what I forgot to say, an important thing is the employee. This is his supervisor, by the way, is the farter. The employee calls him Mr. Stinky. Here comes Mr. Stinky down the hall. Mr. Stinky. So as Mr. Stinky and him get in this fight, after all, the employee gets laid off, and it's an engineering firm. And he's laid off according to the rest of the firm because of there's a downturn in the economy, and his job was terminated, so he sues.
And it's a 2008 case, and we all know that around that time there was a downturn worldwide. It was a global downturn in the economy.
So he did argue. His argument is it was abusive, and that Mr. Stinky did it on purpose. Yes, and he did it in order to it constituted bullying and assault in his mind. And so what happened, the court held that's not the case, and the appellate court affirmed. But here's the best part. Mr. Stinky, I'm going to call him the supervisor. Yes, that testified. Let's keep that as whenever there's a stinky.
Yeah, that's the flatulence. That's the flatulence sound.
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm
the
just
flatulence,
trying to be tactful here.
No, I think that's a good one.
Yeah, okay.
So Mr. Stinky, go ahead, Cal.
Wait, Mr. Stinky.
Mr. Stinky went ahead and testified under oath, and he said, quote, "Yeah, I may have done it once or twice." Oh, once or twice.
That's like telling an officer, I only had one beer.
I only had a couple stinkies. Mr. Stinky. So I fired him.
You know, it's interesting. If this case were tried in California, the plaintiff would have probably prevailed.
If they went to Mexican food, I think.
It's just my theory.
Or,
if they went to Mexican food for lunch,
I mean that's
chili.
that's not trying to be
But I'm saying think about this. It really certainly makes for a hostile work environment, and in California they are very what's the word I'm looking for? Aggressive. At enforcing that sort of thing. So it's not just the case and its merits sometimes. It's where it's heard.
And what you're eating at lunchtime, because you're eating stuff with beans.
That's a separate story. Yeah, that's a separate.
If you're going to my favorite restaurant, Chevy's, you got to be careful. So anyway, that is the case of the flatulence. And Mr. Stinky. Mr. Stinky.
Yes, got it. Okay.
So beware of Mr. Stinky in your office, because you will lose the case if you try to bring a case against Mr. Stinky if you're in Australia. But I think you're right, Cal. It depends. You really think about it without, getting to the real legal issue. If he's kind of bullying you because of that, whether he's doing that or calling you a name or sticking his tongue out at you or doing something like that, it can be a form of bullying.
Harassment.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I would think anyway.
I don't know.
Right, and so when he was subsequently terminated, what he was trying to do is type of wrongful employment termination.
He was looking
case.
for a hook to hang the fact that he got laid off.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
farting just doesn't cut the mustard.
What?
Well, apparently it's cheese.
Let's go from flatulence to having.
We need Todd.
Go to the website, radiolawtalk.com. That's radiolawtalk.com.